Hello, everyone. Welcome to If I'm Being Transparent, a mini series where I invite you to join me on a journey of self discovery and vulnerability. In this series, I'll be sharing my true feelings, thoughts, and experiences, and I hope that by being open and honest, I can create a safe space for all of us to reflect on our own lives. As someone who's always tried to put on a brave face, it's not always easy for me to be transparent about my feelings. I'm honest, but not really transparent, if that makes sense. But I believe that it's in these moments of vulnerability that we can find true connection and growth. So I invite you to join me as I explore my thoughts, emotions, and experiences, and let's navigate this journey of transparency together. In this series, I'll be discussing topics that are close to my heart, from self-care and mental health to relationships and personal growth. My goal is to create a space where we can have open and honest conversations and where we can support and uplift each other. So let's get started on this journey of transparency together. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to sharing my thoughts and feelings with you. So if I'm being honest, if I'm being transparent, I'm not ready for this one, but let's go. All right, y'all. So if you got the invite and checked out the website, you know the spiel. So let's get into it. This is a story time slash podcast slash whatever it's going to be. I don't even know if I'm going to put this out. Yeah. So I'm sitting here and I realize I'm angry. I'm very angry. There were so many ways that I was going to go about um, maybe talking about this. But chit chatting with my friends, like, girl, we got to talk about this. We have to have a podcast about this. We're going to do this. And I kept getting, definitely the Holy Spirit was giving me certain feedback, like, be careful, watch out. People are watching you. Be careful how you do things. Be careful who you expose. All of those different things. It's not about exposing anybody, because in that I'm exposing myself too. I'm a lot of times very honest about my mistakes and the things that I don't do right. But I feel like I don't get the grace that I give. Because I felt like that, I was like, man, I want to put this out. Like, I want to say this. Like, last year, 2024, ended on like the highest note that it could. And I would say ended, but around September was like a high note for me. Never wanted to get married. Never thought I would get married. Didn't even want to wake up to the same person every day. I just did not want that life. And no matter how cute it looked on romantic comedies, I didn't want that responsibility. I didn't want to do the work. I didn't want any of that. I didn't have good models, and I didn't care to try to fight it out and become a good model for anybody else. However, God saw different. And I ended up marrying my best friend September 2024. And the trip to the altar and it wasn't an altar. There was no altar. It was outside. The trip down the proverbial aisle, as it were, was less than perfect. It was not without its kinks, but whatever. People have it worse, right? With all that being said, high note and everything, I feel like 2024, and primarily maybe because of the wedding, showed me who people really are, and showed me that, like, people tend to say I have a lot of friends. I do have a lot of acquaintances, but it showed me who people are when times get tough, basically. Or maybe when I become my real authentic self, I realize that people don't really like who that is. I don't know. Maybe I don't like who that is. I think sometimes God really has to sit you down, and it's not necessarily that you did anything wrong, but he's sometimes telling you, like, stop being so involved with everybody else. As much attention and energy as you're giving everybody else, I'd like you to give me. And not that he wants to be like, okay, now you screw her over just so I can have her all to myself. No, I don't believe it's like that. It's more of like, I'm going to go ahead and peel back the curtain and reveal who these people are, so that you can come back to your first love, so that you can come back and pour that energy into me. And I guess what I'm grappling with, what I just realized, what just hit me, is that even in all of the I feel great loss that I went through in 2024, and I'm just now realizing how angry I am about that, I still have not poured all the energy that was pouring into those people into my relationship with God. So maybe I'm more angry at myself, but to keep in with my promise not to be disrespectful or not to like out anybody or whatever it may be, those people who are close to me, they know. Those who know, they know. I essentially, um, due to whatever circumstances, ended up having to be separated. I'm not going to say I separate myself or they separated themselves. I'm just going to say I had to be separated from a family member and two very, 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 very close friends that became my family, and also an acquaintance, um, and then two other acquaintances. So if I'm counting correctly, I essentially lost five people and gained a husband. Where some people's like, yeah, you can have that. I'll take my husband. Yes, I will. That does not mean I'm not going through the grief. And it doesn't mean that I didn't realize that I was grieving over that. So the anger comes in where I think all except one of those people, I've known them for years, and some shorter years than others, but years, more than 3, more than 5. And they have allowed people to abuse them mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever you want to call it. They have allowed people to abuse them and have gone back to them several times and have forgiven them and have gone back into other situations. They have let other people walk in and out of their lives, done other things, and extend amazing grace. Now, nobody's ever completely right in a situation. So I take responsibility for whatever it is that I did in any of the situations. But I will say, and I'm going to stand 10 toes down on this, that none of those situations that happened warranted the separation that occurred. And I have to sit here and wonder, what type of friend are you that people will allow scum, bottom feeders, to disrupt their lives and still give them chance after chance? But little old me, if and when I make a mistake, I don't get a second chance. Separation is final. It makes me angry that I feel that the majority of people that are around me, are still in my circle, or in my life, may think they really care about me. But when I open my mouth and I say how I feel about a situation, and I stop appeasing people, or if I make a mistake, I'm human, whatever. If I do something wrong, I don't get the grace. I think most people think they like me until I stop being jolly old me, until I stop giving my money, stop giving my time, stop giving my loyalty, whatever it is. When I stop giving that, they don't know who I am no more. I'm not that person anymore. I'm not such a good person anymore. It makes me angry, not at them, but at myself. How dare you let all these people walk in and out of your life like you're nobody? How dare you? So it's all culminated because I am walking into my 1-year wedding anniversary, and I should be ecstatic, over the moon, excited, because that over there is great. And I'm planning it and I'm having fun planning it. And it hit me. Sometimes, us girlies like to just have a good cry. It helps. It's cleansing, right? And I usually like to listen to one of my family members' songs to just have that good cry. And I don't even want to listen to because I'm angry. Because I'm like, really? Really? It had to go that far and that long. And I get no grace. You cannot show up for me. Now, I had to pull out my Tamar Braxton and get my angry, ugly cry out on her music as opposed to supporting my so-called fam. What I will say is I'm grateful. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I don't have support. It was so amazing to see people that I have known for years that I don't necessarily talk to anymore. Just life has separated us. And I'm not really close to any sides of my family, but I was able to see those people that I haven't seen since I was young. And my mom's side of the family came in support. People that I haven't even seen in years. And my dad, our small little family on my dad's side, people came to support. When I look back, I'm gonna tell you, I was running like a chicken with my head cut off. I don't really know what happened on my wedding day. Even when I went to do the video, I didn't really watch it because I just wanted to put it out. I'm gonna sit down and enjoy that when my husband actually watched the video on our anniversary coming up. But the feeling that I had, the thing I remember is like the smile. I remember my mom had so much fun. That right there was amazing to me. And just the people that actually showed up. Even some of the people that I'm talking about in the five showed up still, and the fallout happened after. But the people that showed up to support me, man, like y'all got my heart for real. That is the best gift I could ever have. But I have to release this because I have to, if you got the invite, checked out the website, the spiel that this is my therapy, sometimes people feel like nobody hears them. And I think that's why a lot of people are on social media. But then social media becomes taxing because you post stuff and it becomes toxic. And it's like people want to talk back and have comments and stuff. And I feel like on this platform, it's like, I'm going to put it out there. I don't care what you really say. I don't have to read the comments. It is what it is. I'm just putting this out there to release it. But with all the joy that I have for the people that really, really did support me, came and prayed over us and loved on us. And, shout out to the people that sacrifice time, money, blood, sweat, tears, like for real. Shout out to them. You know who you are. I'm here. Like, I love you for it. But I get to say that I'm angry. I get to say that I am grieving the loss of some very important people in my life, and I need to bury that. And so Spirit won't let me do it how I want to do it. I want to go into detail. I want to say every story. I want to say my side, their side, and all that stuff, but I can't do that. But what I can say is that I'm angry, and it's going to take some time. But the first step is releasing it and saying that I'm angry. So if I'm being transparent, I want to really shake off this sadness and this anger, because I can't take that into my anniversary, my vacation coming up, of just like enjoying and adventures with my significant other. But it's okay to say, you know what, people let me down. And hey, I let some people down too. I did, but I don't do the separating. And so when I let people down, I apologize and I stand there, with my head in my hand, trying to make it right. And if that's not accepted, and then there's a separation, I didn't do the separating. And if I'm transparent, I'm angry that I didn't do the separating. But I do the closing. I do the closing. And I'm going to close that chapter. So I'm marking my new year by my new self. And my new self happened September 1st, 2024. And so my new year is coming up September 1st, 2025. And I'm closing that chapter. I'm close that door. That doesn't mean the grief still won't be there at times. That doesn't mean the pain is not going to be there. But I had to get it out and say it so that I can close that door.